today to discuss the matter of religious liberty. In particular, I urge this body to respect our constitutional values and avoid any hint of applying religious tests to those who heed the call of government service. Freedom of religion is as foundational a principle as we have in this country, yet some in this chamber want to take a cabined view of it. If you're a judicial nominee, it's fine to attend the occasional worship service, but don't let on that you take it too seriously. That seems to be unacceptable. From the inception of our republic, religious believers have chosen to serve the country in countless ways, whether through the armed forces, holding elected office, or sitting on the courts. Americans of faith have always answered the call. We should welcome this service, and we should not sit idly by while others question the propriety of their service by suggesting a de facto religious test. The framers of the Constitution were fearful of this very thinking. They understood the importance of religious participation and foresaw the benefits that religious believers of all backgrounds would contribute to the common good. They also knew from centuries of war and suffering in Europe the high cost of religious intolerance. That's why they made it clear in Article 6 of the Constitution that no public officers could be subject to a religious test. This edict was entirely unambiguous in its language and its intent. This country is to be served by people of all faiths, committed to the Constitution and the common good. It is up to us to question the qualifications and jurisprudence of nominees, not their religious views. Unfortunately, that is not what is happening to Professor Barrett. I was at her confirmation hearing, where she faced inappropriate questions and objections based on her religious views. I witnessed a citizen heeding the call to serve her country, only to face inquiries into her religious beliefs that bordered on ridicule. My friends on the other side of the aisle defended their questions and their conduct, and I don't doubt their sincerity. But there is little comfort in the defense that it doesn't matter that Professor Barrett is a Catholic, but somehow it matters what sort of Catholic she is. These are unconstitutional distinctions without differences. In addition, otherwise respectable news outlets have provided sensational reports of Professor Barrett's personal charismatic religious practices. As a member of the United States Senate, I find this troubling. As a person of faith, I find this objectionable. And above all, as an American, I find this abhorrent. It is religious liberty enshrined in constitutional provisions like Article 6 and the First Amendment that has allowed my faith and so many others to flourish in the United States. It is also religious liberty that is threatened when we seek to evaluate the fitness of nominees for high office based on religious orthodoxy. I have endeavored to be consistent on this issue during my time in public service. When the presidential nominee of my party, the party of Lincoln, called for a Muslim ban, it was wrong, and I said so. That is not what we stand for. When a judge expressed his personal belief that a practicing Muslim shouldn't be a member of Congress because of his religious faith, it was wrong. That this same judge is now my party's nominee from the Senate from Alabama should concern us all. Religious tests have no place in the United States Congress. Standing up for people of faith, whether Muslim or Catholic, who are facing unfair prejudice should be an act of basic conscience. It should be expected of all of us, regardless of party. It is no better for Democrats to evaluate the judicial nominee based on how many books are in the Bible on which she swears her oath than it is for Republicans to judge a congressman who swears his oath on the Koran. To suggest that somehow a Roman Catholic judge would discard the Constitution in favor of church doctrine, which she has emphatically and repeatedly said she would not, is as wrong as suggesting that a Muslim judge would be somehow forced to follow Sharia law over the Constitution. Religious liberty must not depend on the religion in question. So I ask, in light of these circumstances, who will stand today against all cases of religious bigotry? Are there true liberals who will stand up for the liberal values of religious tolerance? Some have. Some, like Professors Larry Tribe, Noah Feldman, and Chris Eisberger. They have said enough. Who here will join them? This very body is made up of individuals from around 15 different faiths. Each of us has sworn an oath to the Constitution. Each of us here feel that we can competently carry out our duties, and as do those in the judicial branch who swear a similar oath to uphold the Constitution. Mr. President, let us stand together today without equivocation and say no to religious intolerance in all its forms by examining the jurisprudential views and professional qualifications of judicial nominees, not their relationship with the Almighty. Mr. President, I yield back.